Salutations everyone and welcome to What Mattered, the show where I tell you what mattered this week. I hit over 1,000 subscribers in the past week, which puts me on pace to hit 1 million subscribers in the year 5683. It's not a joke, I actually did the math. The depressing math. I'll never be famous. I am back from Stan Lee's Kamikaze, which is where I was last week, so that's why you didn't see any news that happened Friday or Saturday, even though I don't think there was any. But it was an awesome convention, got to see some awesome stuff, some cool people, got some artwork done, met some really awesome people. I got to meet Kas Anvar, the voice of Altair, which is awesome. I could put his autograph right next to Alan Scott Craig's for Ezio. I got to meet all the voices of the main six. I got to see the rocket jump panel, some footage of Video Game High School Season 3, and just a lot of awesome artists and vendors, and this is where I got this shirt and this hat, so very, very cool. Anyways, this is what mattered this week. So, Blizzard announced a new game this week at BlizzCon, and it looks phenomenal. It's called Overwatch. It looks like a PvP, cartoony, CGI, almost like DreamWorks-like in the cutscene that they showed of the game. And it looks really, really cool in like the vein of like Team Fortress 2. It's cartoony. It's a first-person mode. Not always a shooter, because not all of them have guns. But it looks really, really awesome, and it's really surprising to see a game like this that's so far in development that we just haven't heard of yet. Apparently, this was part of the Blizzard's Titan MMO that they canceled about a month ago. This is portions of the PvP just totally reshapen. So some of the assets that they used in Titan have now come over to Overwatch, and it looks really, really awesome. And I'm not really one to get super excited about PvP only games on PCs. Especially with the floods of the same MOBAs over and over and over again. It's just the market is flooded with really shitty MOBAs, and probably will be for the next 5 or 6 years. This is very, very refreshing, and it looks like, different parts of different games thrown into this one. It's kind of like a Team Fortress kind of a thing. People who build turrets and have special abilities. But like in a MOBA, they're very an eclectic taste, very, very different types of abilities to make all the characters stand out, and it's a first-person shooter, so it looks very, very awesome. I'd highly, highly recommend to watch the cinematic that they showed at BlizzCon, or the like 6 minutes of gameplay footage that showcases a lot of the characters. I don't know if it's all of them, but this game looks really, really cool, and I'm actually really, really excited for it. It looks absolutely awesome. It looks different, it looks fresh, and it's Blizzard, so we know it's going to be quality and have a lot of support. So definitely looking forward to this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because Overwatch looks like it could be a really big thing. Bungie has finally released details of what is coming in the Dark Below, the first DLC expansion for Destiny, and it goes as follows: 3 new story missions, 2 new strikes if you're on PlayStation. If you're not, then you only get 1 new strike. New legendary weapons and armor, new exotic weapons, new bounties, new vendors, different playlists that they're going to be mixing with in the Crucible, which adds 3 new maps to it. The light cap is increased to level 32. I assume you can only reach this using the new gear in said DLC. But that's not all. If you don't buy the DLC, you're still going to be getting some new content. Some new weapons and some new armors, new bounties, and 5 additional bounty slots, which is really cool because bounties are kind of an important thing, especially if you want to try to get those exotic bounties like this guy. But it's 35 for the like season pass of 2. I don't know why you call that a season pass, or $20 by itself, which I know sounds like a lot for the content that they're giving us, but let's, be reasonable here. With all of the other, MMOs that we played over the years are subscription based, and they would probably cost you know, just as much as this with this amount of content, if not more, by this time in the game's life cycle. And it's something that they're going to keep on adding to and tweaking. So that is definitely appreciated. No word yet on what is going to be in the winter DLC that's coming out probably next year. I'm going to guess in like January or February or something. But they are working on other expansions as well as the sequel. Yes, Activision released a statement saying that they were working on a sequel to Destiny, which is a little bit odd because they said that Destiny was like a 10-year plan for one game to last this long, which I said before is highly, highly ambitious and not really something you can plan to happen. But maybe this is just part of that plan. Maybe Destiny 2 is part of that 10-year plan. I'm not too sure. But, I mean, of course they're working on it now. I mean, just look how long it took them to make Destiny in the first place. I mean, they had people working on that, you know, on Bungie, you know, while they were doing ODST, if not earlier, based off of the teasers and Easter eggs and concept art we've seen. That took them years and years and years and years, and it would only make sense for a sequel to take a lot of time as well. Not as much time because they'll have the assets from the original game, but very, very interesting to see what happens with this title. A lot of people are disappointed with the amount of content and or lack of story in the game so far, but 9.5 million users have played Destiny so far, logging in on average on weekdays 3 hours per session. That just on average 3 hours per session on a weekday, and that goes up by an hour on the weekend. So a lot of people are playing it and a lot of people are liking it, so it's not going to be going away from the spotlight anytime soon. So DC Comics announced their next big event that'll be taking place next year starting on April 1st. It's going to be titled Convergence, and it will be centered around Brainiac, which I'm a little fatigued on. Brainiac has kind of gotten the spotlight as like this huge villain for, I think, way too often in the past few years, but that may be just me, probably not. But what Brainiac is doing is he's taking all of the bottled cities from all the parallel universes that he's visited, taking them all in one place and just opening them up and just seeing what happens, because I guess Brainiac's bored. So, and in this we learned that the pre-52 universe still exists and still has been existing, and we'll be seeing some of those characters as well as like the new 52 and all the other parallel universes that we've seen for the past few decades. When it comes to DC, some people are criticizing DC for copying Marvel because the Secret Wars is doing a parallel universes colliding thing too, which DC has been doing for like 40, 50 years. So, you know, in case you were gonna get angry about that, you know, learn your stuff. And there's also going to be a new villain, Telos, which is Greek for end. So those are DC's plans, and you know, hopefully it's pretty good. And of course, we already know Marvel's plans for next year, or at least so we thought until this week we learned that there is an Attack on Titan Marvel crossover in the comics, which is awesome or awful. I honestly don't know. I would understand anyone thinking either, because this is just a really, really weird idea. A weird crossover, a weird what if, but, you know, some people are really psyched about this. And when you think of Attack on Titan Marvel crossover, you probably think of like something like this, or this. Oh. So yeah, all in all, it's weird. I don't know what to think of it, except I don't know what to think of it because it's weird. What other comic book anime crossovers do you guys think that they could make? Doctor Strange meets Full Metal Alchemist? So some big movies came out this week with Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, his longest film to date, as well as Disney's Big Hero 6. Saw Interstellar yesterday, so I can give my review on that. No spoilers, because it's a Christopher Nolan movie. It is very, very long, so if you're one of those idiots who don't like long movies because your brain can't work for that long at a time, just don't see it, because it's really long. But it's a very, very good film. It's Christopher Nolan, so you kind of can expect that. It's the previews and stuff don't really set up for what this movie entails. I think it did a very good job on holding back what's going to be happening in this film. Matthew McConaughey, I think, does a great job. He's a good actor now, in case you didn't know. You know, as well as, you know, all the other people that Christopher Nolan has had in his movies. You know, we got Michael Caine, we got Anne Hathaway, no Morgan Freeman, which is a surprise, but, you know, he can only have so many roles. But it was very, very good film. I thought it was fresh in its take and the way that it told its story. It didn't feel like any other movie I've seen before in the story that it told, how it told it, and what unfolded in this film. I think it was, you know, very, very different than any other space genre exploration film to date. And I think it's a very, very good film. It's not perfect. I don't think it's Christopher Nolan's best film. It has, you know, a couple of problems. Some parts are predictable, but it was still a fairly good film, and definitely unique enough to garner its own place in actually whatever genre you want to put it in. So that's all I have to say about that. I say it's a good film. I would go see it. Haven't seen Big Hero 6 yet. That'll be seen in a couple hours or so, so I'll let you guys know about that later on. But, you know, it's a good time for the movies for the next couple of months. And speaking of movies, they're doing a Toy Story 4. I don't know if you've heard, but Pixar's doing a Toy Story 4. It's going to be coming out June 16th, 2017, so I guess it's going up against the My Little Pony movie. But, really, really surprised, especially since they wrapped Toy Story 3 up in a nice little bow. You know, it was fantastic, one of the best threequels of all time. I don't think it was the best. I actually didn't even think Toy Story 3 was the best animated film in that year, or second for that matter, but still a really, really good film, easily one of the best threequels ever. But a fourth movie is surprising since how they nicely wrapped up Toy Story 3. But, you know, since Disney owns Pixar, they want to you know, keep on pumping up their established franchises, you know, which helps as far as, you know, like theme park attendance on like the Toy Story attractions and merchandising. It just makes sense from, you know, a financial point of view, especially since how they've been so successful. I don't like how Pixar has been doing this, focusing on sequels thing, because Cars 2 was atrocious, Monsters University wasn't very good. I am still looking forward to Finding Dory because I love Finding Nemo so much. And I obviously am looking forward to Toy Story 4 because the first three were so good. Obviously, you would need Tom Hanks and Tim Allen to come back on. I don't think Disney would actually make the movie without them because they are the franchise. Those are the toys. Those are the characters that make up Toy Story, as well as, you know, the supporting cast. But, you know, those are your guys. And I am looking forward to it. And it has the chance, if it's a good film, which, you know, even though Pixar has had, you know, a few down years where Disney has kind of taken over, if they can make a really good third sequel, fourquel, I don't know, the fourth movie in a franchise, it would be the first one in cinema history. There's only like 4 good threequels. There are no good fourquels. So this could be, you know, the first of its kind. And if there's one franchise to do it, Toy Story is a pretty good shot at it. Any Hootie and the Blowfish, that is what mattered this week. Hope you all enjoyed. Comments are always appreciated. If you'd like to know what matters in the future, you could hit the subscribe button and you'll find out what mattered, just like this week. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.